Hello and welcome to another project update. All right, so I'm gonna have to start off by apologizing. Um, I think yesterday I said I was gonna work on um, the room vine system, but yeah, I didn't end up doing that. Um, I was caught up with setting up the occlusion culling this level. I had to add a bunch of stuff for the new geometry, and now it seems to be. Actually, I don't think I'm done yet. I still have to get this area sorted out, but I mainly focused on that area over there. The reason you can't see the mesh right now is because I have a debug camera set up for the room manager. As a little preview, this is a thing called preview camera, and I have it set to call test camera, which is right here. Basically, I'm testing the occlusion culling, but instead of using the scene camera, I'm using this. So if I rotate the camera, so if I move the camera around, it's not very good. It's not a very good example for this scene or this room, but yeah, you can see that as the camera rotates, this area becomes visible. I move the camera in here, it stops being visible. Oh yeah, I also added changed some ambient lighting for the cave area. I think it might be a little bit too dark, but I gave it kind of a bluish tint because that's usually how a lot of games use like blue as like a way of making something dark without really making it dark. Actually, a lot of games, even newer-ish games. I say newer, but but the game I had in mind was Halo Reach, and that game's more like I guess more than a decade old, I think. But there's this night level in Halo Reach where it's really not that dark, but everything's like kind of blue. And that's kind of what I'm doing here. All right, so this area over here is a really good example of the occlusion culling system I set up. Oops. All right. So this forest was originally all one big mesh, but I split it into smaller pieces because it was so it's kind of hard to explain, but when it was all combined, the um the 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 volume that represented the room overlapped with the cave a little bit. It's kind of hard to you kind of just gonna have to trust me on this, but hold on, actually I can probably show you what exactly. Okay, so this when this was all combined in one mesh, the volume for it is well it's the rooms have to be concave or convex. I don't know the one that doesn't. I always get these mixed up. The one that doesn't have like inward facing faces, or not inward faces, like faces that curve outward. Yeah, so the collision for that would have gone from here to here, which caused it to overlap this cave, which made the room portal system not work properly. I'm trying to set up the portals so that they're in only like for the most part only in the entrances, but I couldn't do that. So instead, I decided let's go all in on this and split this whole forest area into smaller pieces because why not? It actually didn't take a whole lot of time. Okay, I'm gonna turn the debug back on, kind of show you how comprehensive it is. All right, so you can move through the forest. So facing that way, facing that way. All this stuff is built into the engine, by the way. It takes a little bit of setup, but it's good for reducing render times. Not that my game needs it, considering it's like a low poly game with very low res textures. But I think it's worth doing this just like for the sake of learning how to do it and like for the sake of doing things properly. And there's also a room portal here. Let's temporarily get rid of this destructive floor. This destructible floor. Here's the camera. Let's point it up away from this room. Now let's simulate the camera. Now let's simulate the player looking into the hole. And it suddenly becomes visible. Exactly what you want. Which means that this area is working properly. So one thing that I think I could probably do, and I'm not sure if this is the best idea, considering that how massive these gaps are. One thing that I've been thinking about doing is converting the separate floors of this room into separate rooms for the room system, so that I can take advantage, so I can like properly take advantage of occlusion culling, or at the very least splitting more of these pieces off the main geometry, because right now it's only in like 2 main pieces. It's got like walls and floors. The wall and the ceilings and the pillars are part of the walls. The only exception to this is the railing. I can't remember exactly why I split that off, but I did. Oh yeah, I remember the reason why. It's because this was originally a trench room map, and I wanted to make, and I didn't want this geometry here and to be like have like collision. I wanted it to have like, you can see here there's like a box going around the whole railing. Basically custom collision. So yeah, I think that tomorrow I'm probably going to continue working on setting up the occlusion culling system, because this area here does not set up properly. This area is, but the new stuff here is not. Oh, and if you're wondering how it works between the entrance zone and this area here, there is a really big portal like right here. This is the whole thing. This is what is necessary for like allow this sort of inter-room visibility with the whole room portal system with occlusion culling. If you're wondering why this system like exists, it's mainly to like reduce like what is rendered all at once, so that only what is on screen as the goal is, so that only on screen stuff is rendered, and it's not going to like render stuff that's behind other things. It's pretty common practice for video games. Well, 3D games. Anyways, that's pretty much it. I think I said this before, but I'm probably not going to do the vine climbing stuff tomorrow either. I think tomorrow I'm going to continue working on setting up occlusion culling. And if I finish that tomorrow, then I will start working on the vine climbing stuff. There's a bunch of other stuff, little things that I kind of want to change. It's kind of leading up to that. Because like the thing is, the way I have my code set up is I'm using collision layers for different things, and in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe that wasn't the smartest decision. I'm thinking that, I mean, for a lot of stuff it is good. Like for So layer 5 is camera clip, which is like something that the camera can collide with. But I also have this one called climbable. Climbable isn't for what you think it is. It made sense at the time that I set it up, but climbable was like anything that the player can climb onto. When I say climb, I don't mean like wall climbing sort of climb. I mean like hold on, let me show you. I mean like this. That's what I say when that's what I mean when I say climbable. So at the time it made sense, but now that I want to implement like actual wall climbing stuff, not on this mesh, but like on the vines in that other room, specifically this one. Well, I'm already using the word climbable, so I need to either find a different word for that, or I need to change my system so that I'm using different words for the other for like climbing up this sort of mesh. I need to figure out what exactly to. It's more important than you think, like finding the right words to describe something, because if you use the wrong words, something, you'll forget what it. Or I will forget what it does and how it works, and I'll just end up confusing myself down the road. I want to avoid that. Yeah, that's what I've been working on the past few hours. Thanks for watching. Hope this was insightful. If you have any advice for me, let me know in the comments or on the Discord. If I remember to put a link to it in the description. Yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. See you later. Bye bye.